Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith of Smith in the Black with the Weekend Vid, and so what we got here, we had a bad tick and spy, so wasn't really a 3-day, but what it did do is come down here and complete the broadening formation, right? So if you go from here to there, we have our lows. Does that mean we're going back up? Well, we'll have to see, but we knew from here to down there, that's where we're going. So here's your broadening formation on the SPY. If you go to QQQ, because we know everything's red, pretty much. Here's your higher high, and then here's your lower low. Now, the question is, what's the next two? So you're kind of in the middle of this day, Friday, and what's the next two out of that? So we got a good chance of an inside day on Monday, and then we'll see. Because we know that we're having trouble on the month. That we do know, right? So, but for the day to open up, you've got a good chance at an inside day, and so we'll take we'll let it open. We go to Apple, and Apple potential hammer if they want to try and bring it up. Remember, higher high, lower low. So we are potentially at the bottom of some broadening formations, but we also have the monthlies inside month and down. So are the dailies going to override is what we're going to say. And then we want to see, because we're coming into the end of the month, how do we set up for the next month? Well, you're nowhere near being good on the month. You might go inside, but you're nowhere near that. You're nowhere near taking out the highs for a big rally. But we know that time frame continuity can, do some things. So we'll be aware of that. If you go small cappers, and small cappers, once again, down, sideways, down. And then for the week, here. I believe you slightly took that out. Yeah. So potential 222 back to the downside. We'll see. So, we don't want to overthink things, especially when you have, the market where it is, saying, all right, well, every day we're up or down, a couple percent, that we'll let them open. We'll just let them do what they're going to do. If we get the Dow Jones Diamonds here, right, slight higher high, then into the down into the lows. So we know we have Rev Strat month 1, 2, 2, but you're into exhaustion risk. But look at all this month taking it out. So we know Boeing has been a real problem. Right, so here, when did they kick it out of the Dow? It's been in this month since the pandemic, and we know that internal broadening formations exist. So what we're looking to do for Boeing is taking this out. 113.89. You still got some room on that. Should take it out. If we go to CAT also 2 months down now. Below 202, 97.82. So you can keep an eye on CAT, and that tells you DEER and AGCO. If we go to Disney, we're all going to stream, are we? Because this thing's going down, as far as we know. The weekly, inside week. So we'll, pay attention to that inside week for Disney. And that tells you Roku and a bunch of other streamers. If we go to XRT Retail, ugh. And the thing about, like having volatility where, a lot of things are going in the same direction, we're going to be playing a lot of things day to day. But what you do have is XRT taking it down, and we know Walmart is just getting destroyed. We know Target is getting destroyed. We know Costco. Destroyed. 1 second. But you know that. They're just destroying retail. Right? Oops. My bad. And so, yeah, I'm like, it's oversold. I'm like, it's not oversold. This is a 2-2 reversal after years of up. So, when people say things are oversold, I'm like, yeah, no. No, because if you go to a yearly chart, I mean, these things have had such a monster run. And, people talk about valuation and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Is it being bought or is it being sold? Right now, these things are being sold. You're going to have a real tough time making any bullish comments on a monthly basis here at Costco. So if we go to XLE, we know that's been positive all year. Right. However, what we're worried about here, and what this would do is set up a buying opportunity. But, you got to let it play out. So here you can see the inside week goes to the highs and then comes back in. So potential rev strat to the downside. We would be very aware of all that in the XLE, because if they back off and everything backs off, market can get crushed. Because what we've seen is that when the market stabilizes, XLE goes up. But if they start to hit them all, that'd be a problem. So you've got all that rev strat stuff. Potentially Exxon better. Would have to take this out. But just be aware of that in the XLE. If we go to semiconductors, SMH weekly, well, took out a higher high. How are you going to get outside of this? That's what we want to know. Because we know on a monthly basis here, it's only a doji. But if we go to QQQ, once again, puke. If we go to XLK, puke. And XLK tells us, because it's heavily weighted with Apple and Microsoft, keep an eye on Microsoft. Microsoft's inside month and down, having all sorts of problems, right? Microsoft came back at the end of the day, but and you got your higher high, you got your lower low. Like I said, things take time to set up. So we might have our lower low for the broadening formation. It might take a few days to set up, but if we don't recover a bunch of this stuff, we go back down. So if we go to net, what we want to do is look for signals that can still trigger to the downside. So when people say exhaustion or they say capitulation, they look at volume. I want to look at how many actionable signals can possibly happen. Net inside week, right? Now, if it blew to the downside, that'd be it. There's no signals. But net inside week, you've got UPST as an inside week. You've got TWLO as an inside week. You've got Snappy as an inside week. You got Coop inside month and down, inside week. You've got, we're watching a lot of this stuff where we're talking also about the Bitcoin. And, it's been selling up, but you have inside weeks that have been doing nothing. Coinbase, that's got a long way to not be just a 2-bar inside, but, we want to watch this with the Bitcoin. Mara, Riot, all the blockchain guys inside. Is this all going to take down? How's Mister doing? Inside week. So we'll see, and we can watch that with the Bitcoin. ALRM. ALRM trying to come up. 322 on the week. So if this continues, we're looking to take this out. 64.25. So Rob, you're not all death and destruction. AMD. Potential shooter counters hammer. If we go to CrowdStrike, inside week. DoorDash, inside week. Either way on these things. Snow, inside week. Tesla, and Tesla, if you go, I always like to say, a lot of people like to trade this only. That 2-2 reversal. So we have that higher high, that lower low. So it's done that. The question is, you're not going to turn this thing green anytime soon. But you did have magnitude by hitting that. So if we go to the weekly, you're going to see this. Here, lower low. Now, how are you going to make this bullish? You would have to go inside week or take this out to the upside, which you are nowhere near doing. Doesn't mean it doesn't move around enough to trade it, but we want the big moves. We don't want to sit there and say, oh, I'm just going to take that 5-minute. Well, you might, but you might, Robert, you might. But, 2 down here, and you'd have to take this out for any big move. And if you're going to get that, then you got all these people short against that. But we'll see. Like I said, when we have the volatility like we have, the VIX where we're at, and we're coming into the end of the month. So we want to see, is there anything that's positive on the month? Is there anything that's close to taking out the month? Because, yes, we trade, but we want those trades to be bigger moves. And see, if I'm right, it's really going to go. But if we don't have that, we're going to keep taking profits, and that's how it's going to be. All right, that's going to do it for this weekend. I'm Rob Smith. This is Smith Black with the Weekend Vid.